you for visiting with me today as I discuss the topic Ecowas versus Niger, the elephant in the room. My name is Paul Asobayire, aka Asobayire, and I am a citizen of Ecowas. Just a very quick background. On the 26th of July, there was a military coup in Niger. On the 30th, Ecowas issued an ultimatum: return Mohamed Bazoum, who was the president before the military coup, back to office or face consequences, including the possible use of military force. That is the backdrop to all this. So, why would ECOWAS be interested in this? To the extent that they say they want to restore democratic order. Democratic order? You're telling me Mohamed Bazoum's term of office was democracy? Let us look at what Abraham Lincoln, 16th President of the United States, had to say about democracy. Government of the people, by the people, for the people, for the people. Government of the people, by the people, for the people. Was Bazoum's government for the people? During Bazoum's time, 80% of Niger had no electricity. And while it is still the case that 80% of Niger has no electricity, France was taking out natural uranium from Niger, empowering their nuclear stations in France, where they have 100% electricity for all households and businesses. So, Bazoum's government was not government for the people. It was not a government for the people of Niger. It was a government for the people of France. The uranium that France takes from Niger is 20% of their needs for powering their stations in France. It provides electricity for industries that employ French citizens, and French citizens enjoy the comforts of electricity from that, and yet Nigerians get nothing, zilch. And you tell me that you want to restore Bazoum for democracy, government of the people, by the people, for the people. Bazoum's so-called democracy was never, ever for the people. So, what is the real reason that ECOWAS is so bent on restoring a Bazoum-type democracy? Maybe, just maybe, it is because there is a revolution taking place. There's a revolution, there's an awakening, not only in Niger, but Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, and the awakening is that they want to kick France out to end neocolonialism, the plundering of the people's resources for the benefit of France, and they want to change the neocolonial order so that their own people can benefit from it. Why would something like that have Ecowas leaders running scared? Why? After all, it sounds like a noble thing. The independence of Francophone Africa should be a good thing for all of us. But remember, the ECOWAS leaders, the warmongers among them, do not want to hear the word revolution. They do not want the military junta in Niger or what is happening in other places, other Francophone countries, to be seen as an independence struggle. They don't want to see it as a revolution for independence. Why? Because when you mention neocolonialism, they themselves are running neocolonial governments for Western interests. And therefore, we must stop Niger. That is what they are thinking is stop what is happening in Niger from becoming a whole big deal. So they are willing to act as a proxy for France and fight their own brothers and sisters, impose sanctions on them, let little children starve to death, let old people who need medications die because they cannot get their medications with sanctions on. Squeeze our brothers and sisters in Niger. Squeeze the very blood out of them, literally. Cause their deaths in order to play proxy to warmongering France. In addition to the uranium that France plunders out of Niger, the rest of Europe, following the blasting of the gas pipeline from Russia that was supplying them with gas, are desperate for an alternative source of gas. Today, the gas they are getting is coming from the US at much higher prices than they got when it was supplied directly by Russia. That is unsustainable in the long term. So, Chevron has already spent $13 billion on a gas pipeline that will start in Nigeria, through Niger, to Algeria, and supply Western Europe. Now, if there is this uproar against neocolonial plunder of Niger's wealth, and the Nigerian junta says, no, your pipeline will not pass through Niger, all their plans down the drain. And so you can understand why France is so eager to do anything to get the junta out, including going to war. The unconfirmed reports are that France actually wanted to use Algerian airspace to attack Niger, and Algeria said no. Bravo, Algeria. But don't think that France is going to stop at anything. They would rather see war in Niger, create all the confusion, have the whole of West Africa strewn up with refugees. Nigeria, your borders with Niger will be flooded with tens of thousands, if not millions, of refugees in the event of an attack on Niger. This problem will not stop there. It will go across all of West Africa. Remember, Burkina Faso and Mali have already pledged that they would fight alongside Niger if Niger is attacked. So you can see the enormity of this problem. France does not care how many Africans get killed as long as they can take their uranium to France and power their electricity installments, as long as they are able to put a pipeline that would supply gas to Europe. They don't care how many of our brothers, our sisters die. They don't care. But we Africans should care. Nigeria, do not allow any of your borders to be used as an entryway into attacking Niger. Now, why do I make a direct appeal to the citizenry rather than trying to talk about why Ecowas leaders should not be warmongers against Niger? Simple. The Ecowas leaders do not want us to be talking about neocolonialism. Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, and now Niger, all of them are against the neo-colonial plundering of their resources. And so as soon as we mention neo-colonialism, the whole issue becomes even bigger than just a junta in Niger. And our ECOWAS leaders themselves know that they are running their various economies as neo-colonial entities for the interest of the West. So defining the problem that broadly is not in their interest, and they rather see war, famine, devastation in Niger than have people in their own countries beginning to think, we have a neo-colonial problem. It may not be as bad as the Francophone one, but can we fix it? And so the appeal is to the ordinary citizenry. We cannot depend on our leaders to lead us through this Niger crisis. We have to rise up in one voice and say no to neocolonialism in Niger, in Francophone Africa, and we must demonstrate this abundantly. Let our leaders know that we will not countenance any interference in Niger to entrench neo-colonialism. Now, talking about entrenching neo-colonialism might seem a little far-fetched conspiracy theory. No. I am talking based on history. When the then Gold Coast, today's Ghana, when Nkrumah was asking for independence now, the elite, the educated elite in Ghana actually sent the then Gold Coast, now Ghana, actually sent a delegation to the Queen of England to say, don't grant independence now. We are not ready for independence. So it's not some conspiracy theory to say that there are some Ecowas leaders who are interested in entrenched neo-colonialism because they are beneficiaries of that system. This is no conspiracy theory. It is based in the annals of our history. No Westerner went into the hinterlands in Africa to catch slaves. It was we ourselves. Some of the traders who were armed by the Atlantic West to go into the hinterland, kill their brothers and sisters, burn down whole villages in order to capture their brothers and sisters, their cousins, and come sell them as slaves. And even though it is hard for us to accept, the truth is, when the slave trade was being abolished, these people were kicking against the abolition of the slave trade. Africans, black Africans, who were slave raiders, did not want to see the end of the slave trade because they had an interest. They were making money, or they were getting trinkets and tiny little things in exchange for raiding slaves and selling them. So it is not the first time that African leaders will be betraying the interests of Africans just for parochial little interests. Please, citizens of Ecowas, citizens of Africa, arise and in one clear voice say, we do not want war in Niger. We do not want sanctions against Niger. Nigerians are our brothers, our sisters, and our cousins. Demonstrate in no uncertain terms so that our leaders will know that they cannot commit our troops, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, to go fight their cousins in Niger. They cannot kill the people of Niger with sanctions. The old person who cannot get his drugs because of sanctions and dies. Children who will die from malnutrition because of sanctions. Pregnant women who will die with their unborn children because there is no epidural to help them or no other resources to help them through the birthing process. Citizens of Ecowas, arise and make it very clear. Demonstrate clearly that we do not want sanctions or war in Niger. Thank you very much. Talk again next time.